Okay, there we go. We're recording. Oh, yeah. Let me put it on speaker view. I think this will work when Cassie, when you talk. Is this right, John? It's showing me someone else, but I think it's gonna work. But y'all, I'm so excited for tonight. We get to hear from our Zoom's being funky. If I'm talking, are y'all seeing my face or no? Oh, Cassie, I guess you're the only one that can answer because you're the only one unmuted.
I'm on the display. Yeah, I can see your face.
Oh, you can? Okay. Okay, good. I can see yours now. Yay. I was trying to figure out. They like changed how Zoom looks, it seems like. But anyways, yay, I'm excited about tonight. Because we get to hear from Cassie, and I like trying to think, and I'm like, I feel like the last few speakers we've had, I'm like, I don't even know your story, so I'm excited to hear. I know today I asked you, I'm like, how old are you? What were you doing before it works? But I'm so excited for you to get to kind of share. We'll start off with you just sharing like your story, how you found it works, and maybe take us through like, what did you do to get going to like, get Diamond, then get to where you're at. So we want to hear your story, and then I'll ask you a few of your like business building tips. But I'm super excited because y'all, this girl is like rocking it out. She is currently the #2 income earner in the entire company, and she's 23 years old. And I sure wish I would have had this business when I was 23. I'm like, that would have been awesome. John would have loved that. That would have been like our first or second year of marriage. That would have been great. But yeah, so I just think that is so incredible, and I love that. I love that. Doesn't matter your age. You can look at all the ambassadors, the top 5, the top 10, and just see so many different, people, different ages, different walks of life. And it's so cool to see there's not a certain mold that you have to fit into to be successful. So Cassie, we're excited to have you. Thank you for taking the time to share. So start off and just, tell us how you found this crazy rap thing, girl.
Okay. I'm Cassie. I'm 23 years old. I'm originally from Connecticut. So I joined, it's going to be almost 3.5 years. So I was 20 years old when I started. And at the time, I was a full-time college student, and I was also working like 3 part-time jobs. So I was super busy, and I had so many jobs because I was always like a hard worker. So that wasn't like the problem. I just never really had time to do more. And I've always was, living paycheck to paycheck, never had enough for the extras. And at the time, I was living with my boyfriend, Spencer. We had our own apartment, so we had like real bills to pay. So we were paying rent and like car payments and all these bills that real adults had to pay. And it was tough. He wasn't going to school at the time, and he was working like so many different jobs, manual labor as well. So I was like super stressed out about money. And then I found About It Works on Instagram from an old high school classmate. I never talked to her previously. And I just saw some posts. I became a customer first for like a week, but I joined immediately after. But I definitely watched her for about 3 months before I finally like started. And once I started, I had a lot of people from my hometown like making fun of me. I was super young, like 2 years out of high school. So people were still really immature back then. And I was like the laughing stock of my town. So, that really bothered me, but I feel like that definitely fueled my fire to really push and prove everyone wrong. So I promoted pretty quickly in the beginning. I went Ruby in my first 30 days, Diamond in my second month, and then Double Diamond my third month. So I was definitely ignorance on fire. I saw these bonuses and I just went after them, and it was amazing. And life was totally different. Obviously, after those 3 months going Double Diamond, life was really, really good. And then 10 months in, I went Triple Diamond, and that was definitely a huge turning point because at that point, I quit all my part-time jobs. And at this point, too, I also dropped out of college. So I went to college, but it definitely wasn't for me. It was just something that I did because I felt like I needed to because, that was what society told you had to do. And then once I found It Works, it just like didn't end up working out for me, but that was fine. And I feel like that really pushed me as well because I didn't have a plan B. I didn't have another option. I had to make this work. So 10 months in, making 6 figures a year was crazy. Spencer officially quit all of his jobs. We got a new car, moved into a brand new luxury apartment. So life was like totally different. And that was like amazing. And then about a year after that, the following January, so I went Triple Diamond in February of 2016. The following January, I went Presidential Diamond. And then 5 months later, I went Ambassador Diamond in May of last year. So that's kind of like the timeline of how it all happened. But since then, exactly 1 year ago, last August, we were able to move to Florida, which has been my dream for so long, to live somewhere warm. So we've been able to do that. I've been able to pay off over $20,000 worth of student loans. I would have normally taken me like 15 years to pay off. We paid off all of our credit card debt. I'm able to give back every single month, even far beyond my tithes. I'm able to help my family every single month. I'm able to give my grandma and my mom money, and just so much more. Like I could go on and on about everything I've been able to do. Oh, and we're also building our dream home. That's a big one. So in 6 months, we'll be closing on our dream house. So yeah, there's been so much we've been able to do. Like our life has completely changed in just the last 3.5 years. It's so crazy. It feels like a dream.
I had to unmute myself. Oh my goodness, I love that. I mean, and that is crazy. So it's like you joined. So I love that you said you joined with someone. It wasn't even like it was like a best friend or anything. It's just, you know, a classmate that you saw posting on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
But like what stands out to me is you saying you watched for like 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And when you were watching, Cassie, let me ask you, were you liking her photos or commenting or anything like that? Or were you just...
I would like her photos, and I never like once thought it was a scam because like I knew her. So I'm like, this girl wouldn't be scamming people. But I never once thought it could be something that I could do. I was like happy for her, but I didn't think that I could do it. And then of course, the more I saw, the more I was intrigued. And then the level of belief came in. And then I just felt like God pulling me towards it. Like I needed to try it. And then ever since then, it was just amazing.
And so when you wanted to try the product first, did you message her?
Yes, I messaged her.
Okay, so you messaged her about trying the product, and then was it your idea to do the business? Were you like...
Yeah, it was my idea because right after that, I just kept creeping her. And then within a week, I think it was like a week only, I just signed up on the spot.
You were like, I'm doing this. Oh,
yeah.
How cool. Okay, and so I know you went fast. You said Ruby in your first 30 days.
Yeah.
So it's like joined first 30 days Ruby. And I love that because I mean we had it last week, or no, it was the week before. The week before at our Tips from the Top, 2 of the girls that were on went Ruby their first month as well. You know, and shared about that. And so I love that. But what were you doing? Because you said you felt like your small town, like it was not like people weren't necessarily supporting it. So how did you find those 5 distributors for Ruby, to do that? And then what about Emerald and Diamond? Tell us about that. Where did those people come from? What did you do to get it initially growing?
Okay. So I was been using social media since day one. I'm not really an outgoing person. I'm super shy. So I wasn't like really the type of person to go face to face with people. So I was starting to build on Instagram right away. But my first distributor was my best friend at the time, Nayara. I'm sure you know who she is. And I like basically forced her to sign up with me like 3 days after I signed up. I like pressured her. I'm like, you need to do this with me. Like you're broke. You need this. And then, so she was my first distributor. And then my second distributor was my sister. I kind of just like made her sign up as well, even though she didn't really work the business in the beginning. So I definitely utilized like my warm market at first. I kind of just like asked the people that were closest to me, like, you need to do this. And then, Nayara was my executive. She was able to get her first 2 distributors right away, which was awesome. And then my other distributor was from Instagram. So I just started posting every single day. I feel like the biggest thing was that I didn't wait. I just started posting right away, and I was working this business like a business since day one. And like I said before, I had so many people making fun of me and like doubting me that pushed me even harder to make it work. And at the time there was $1,000 Ruby bonus, which I really wanted. So that's basically what I was pushing for that first month.
Okay, so you said you started with the warm markets, like I'm going to sign up my best friend, hit up my sister, like what, so you started with those people.
Mm-hmm.
And you weren't scared to ask them. Did you have some that said no?
Yeah, I definitely asked a few of my friends. A lot of them kind of like laughed it off, like they didn't want to do it, but those were the only 2 that said yes. But other than that, it was just all off Instagram from there.
So then what did you start doing to sign them from Instagram? So say someone's on here and they're like, okay, I don't know a whole lot about Instagram, but I want to use that to grow my business. Walk us kind of through how you...
So, I mean, I basically just copied my enroller. So I saw all of her life posts and like how she was posting. And I know back then, like Instagram was different. So like we used to post like 6 times a day and it was like no big deal. And obviously we don't post that much anymore. So it's definitely like evolved and it's different now. But I was posting like constantly every single day, sharing the business opportunity, like sharing the products, and I didn't really hold back. So doing so, I was able to get people pretty quickly off Instagram. I think within my first week and a half, I got my first distributor off Instagram. The first 2 were just like people that I knew. So just being consistent every single day on Instagram.
I love that. I love that you said you're consistent. You didn't post once, never again, you know. give it a week and expect to, get rich. Okay, so then tell us this. So now when it comes to working your business, you're an ambassador, top of the company. Kind of walk us through like your 6 list or what you do in a day. Like how many messages do you send? Do you send messages? Do you do, polls, or like kind of walk us through what are those like business building things you do for someone that's like, I want to do what she's doing.
Okay, so every single day, non-negotiable is post every single day. I post an Instagram story like as many times as I possibly can, just because there's no limit on how many times you can do that. And I'm always posting before and after pictures. And I message 100 people a day. And I have 2 Instagram accounts that I work off of. And that's because if I'm ever blocked on one, I have another one. And it's another way to just message more and follow more people. So it always gives me something to do, because I know that you can get blocked if you overuse something on Instagram. And I honestly just don't let my head hit the pillow until I sign up at least 1 customer a day. It's honestly all about taking massive action. So if you're talking to lots of people every single day and messaging and following up every day like I do, there's no reason why you can't sign up at least 1 person every single day.
I love that. And I love that you said, okay, you're messaging, and I'm taking notes because I love that. So you said you're messaging 100 people a day. You're posting daily. You said you're blowing up your stories, and I love that. I love your stories. I always love watching those. You blow up your stories. You have your 2 accounts in case you get blocked. Okay, so a couple of the like frequently asked questions I get is, who do you message? Like, how do you come up with these 100 people to message? Oh, somebody even asked it. They asked, what do you message? But first we'll start with, who do you message these 100 people?
So I message down my followers list. So people that follow me, I message.
Okay. So anyone following you, you message. And then, so how do you like leave off? Like, I know if I look at my Instagram account and it's like, okay, whatever, how many followers? Like, how do you even figure out who
So how I do it is I basically just take screenshots of like as many as I can until I have like a bunch, and then they're all on my camera roll, and then I go down. So typically it's about like 10 people per screenshot. So I do about 1 screenshot per hour, give or take. And then I delete it obviously when I'm done with it. And then once I run out of people, I just find where I left off and then just do the same thing again.
So on your Instagram followers, the screenshots, it stays in the order it's in?
Yes. And I make like little folders in my album. I used to write them down, but I noticed I was taking up way too much time, like writing down all the Instagram names. So screenshotting is just so much quicker. And then like you always have them because they're on your phone versus like carrying around like a notebook with like a list of names.
I see. So you'll screenshot a bunch, you'll put them in an album, and then you'll just look at the album and type in the name on who to message.
Exactly.
Oh, see, I've never messaged like followers. I love that. Okay. And then someone said, what do you message to them? Like, what's kind of like, do you have like a kind of whatever skeleton message?
Yeah. I could read you the message that I use. I've changed it a bunch of times because sometimes it gets like overused, but it doesn't really matter what you say. So first, the way I changed this a few months ago. So before I used to just cold message them, but instead of doing that, what I do first is I say, hey girl, can I ask you a question? And the reason why I do that is because I get more responses of people saying, yes, what's up, or sure, versus the actual cold message first itself. And then it also helps the algorithm because more people are answering my DM versus not. And then I send the actual message, which says, I hope I'm not bothering you, but I love your profile. I was curious if you would like to be a product tester for me. I think you're so pretty, would love the products. I can give you my personal discount. Can I give you more information? And that's it. And then usually they say yes. And then they say, what are the products? And then I always ask for their number because I just like texting people better. I just feel like going back and forth on DM, I don't get it as fast. I miss them. And I just feel like sealing the deal so much faster over text. And then I already have their number when it goes to follow up with them. So I know some people prefer DM, but I just like texting. So I always ask for their number. Like 90% of the time, they always say yes. Not really many people are like weird with it. If they're weird with it, I'll just DM them. But I get their number and then I'll say, hey girl, it's Cassie from Instagram. So first tell me what you'd be interested in. And I give them a list of the most popular products that we have. And then we kind of just go from there.
Okay, I love that. And so you just ask them if you can ask them a question, so then they reply, then you go to, and I love that. And I think honestly, like, I love that message. I like, we've got like a golden one that we use about updating my portfolio, looking for a product tester, with my discount, would you be interested? Which is a little bit different. But I think at the end of the day, I do love that you say, can I ask you a question? But I think at the end of the day, it's all about the ratio. It's like, how many people are you asking? If you're asking 5 people a day, you're probably not going to sign 1 customer a day. But she's saying, I'm messaging 100 people a day, and so what would you say to somebody that says, I've messaged everybody? Because I've gotten this before where they're like, I've messaged everyone, like I have no one else to message. What would you?
I mean, that happens to me all the time. When that happens, I just need to follow more people and get more people following me to message more. And that's why I have the second account, so that I have more people to message. But that's definitely something I'm always like, a problem I'm always coming into. But if I'm always following and growing my network, I'm always going to have new people to message. Like if that happens, it happens for like a day, and then I get a whole new load of people I can message. So there's really no excuse for it. Like if you're following people, like you're going to have new people to message.
Okay, so we were talking to non-negotiables. So the first, you said you post every day, you message every day, and then I think we started talking about this. What else?
Post an Instagram story. I always follow up like with the people that I talked to the day before.
Okay.
And I always like want to sign up at least one customer at least. Like I just don't feel productive if I'm not enrolling.
Okay.
So,
and then what about when it comes to your follow-up? So do you keep a list of that? How do you organize who to follow up with?
yeah, I'm not like the most organized, but I do have a planner. So basically I just like write down everyone that I talked to that was like interested. And I always like to follow up within like a day or two, because I feel like it's fresh in their mind. So they're more likely to agree and say yes versus if I wait a week or longer. But I'm always following up. And then there's also another follow-up that I do. It's a cleanse follow-up. I'm not sure if you've ever seen it, but basically it's just like a before and after picture I send with like a generic script saying like, hey, look at these awesome results from the cleanse. Like, would you be interested? I could send it to you after over Facebook, but that's something I send to everyone who like never answered me. So I get people sometimes that just like stop answering, or like I'll say, hey girl, it's Cassie from Instagram. I never hear from them at all. So then I'll send this follow-up to them about the cleanse because I have nothing else to say to them because we never talked. And like they respond with the cleanse follow-up and they sign up as customers.
I love that.
A different follow-up that I use for people who like really never answer, like ever, but then they answer with follow-up. So I'll send that to you after. I get like a lot of good results with that. And I always send the before and after picture with it.
I love that. Okay. So I'll have you send that to me. So you do a cleanse follow-up if they just flat out ignored you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then what about the number of people? So you said that you grow your network. Do you have like a number you like to use to follow every day? Are you using like Clean or Captivate? Like how do you like to grow your
I have Captivate and Cleaner running all the time. So as often as the app is like working is how often I follow.
Okay. So you just so you probably are at following like 100 or a couple hundred people a day? I don't even know.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's how it works. I'm not exactly sure how many it follows a day, but it's a good amount.
Okay. So you're doing Clean or Captivate. Okay. So then that's what you do. So then tell me this, when someone joins your team, because it's great to have people that sign up with you, and I know you're a high enroller, so when someone joins, how do you teach them to do what you do? Like, how do you launch somebody, or maybe some of the people you have on, we might have some newbies that just joined. Like, what are those first few goal steps that you give someone when they join?
Okay, so there's like this script I send them that basically tells them like, reach out to me anytime. Like, you're never going to annoy me. You're only going to learn if you ask questions. Your first goal is to get your 4 loyal customers so you get the $100 shopping spree. So that's basically their first goal. And I always tell them to send me screenshots of their conversations because they're probably going to butcher them if they try them themselves, and it's just a time waster. So I always give them their first post. It's usually a hair, skin, and nail post because that's like one of the most popular products. And I always give them a message. So they start messaging right away and they post a hair, skin, and nail post. So they usually always get their first 4 customers with HSN, which is great because the post works. And then with the messaging, they're sending me their screenshots. I'm walking them through what to say exactly as I would if it were me. So that way I'm able to, teach them how to do it themselves. And I also send them a few videos. I send them Jade Hooper's Sealing the Deal with LC video because that's basically how I learned how to talk to customers. And then I have another getting started video that I send them, but it really doesn't matter which video you send them. You can use any that you have. And that's basically, I don't like to overwhelm them with like too much at first, just like this, because I just feel like some people get way too overwhelmed and they like freak out and they just like want to quit. So I always tell them like, we can go at your pace, but if you want to make money fast, like you have to run with me fast. So I always tell them that. So if you want to make a lot of money and you want to promote with me, like you have to like match my efforts. And most of the time people are going to say they want to make money fast. So they're going to be working with me. But that's basically it. I don't really chase people. Like I'll like text them 3 times. If they don't text me after the 3 times, like that's basically it. But the people that want to learn and want to work are going to reach out to me and they're going to ask questions.
I love that. I think that's great. So you give them your 4 loyal customers is your first goal. You give them exactly what to post for their first post with the verbiage. You give them a message to send. And then when it comes to working with them, Cassie, so do you have like a group message you like to do? Do you work with them? Do you and a second sponsor work with them? Like, how do you do that?
Yeah, so if I place them under someone, they'll definitely have more help. But if they're not, like if they're on my 2.0 team, it's just me and them. I have a separate group chat for that. So, but most of the time, like it's just like one-on-one with us or FaceTimes if they want to FaceTime. But that's pretty much it. I like to FaceTime when it comes to explaining like the chart because I feel like sometimes that could be a little bit confusing. But I send a lot of voice messages to save time. So, yeah, that's basically how I do it. I just keep it really simple.
Okay, love it. So yeah, so you do voice message, FaceTimes, group chat. Okay, so then what would be something that you would say is like a tip for somebody this month? We've got the Ruby bonus. Let's think. That 1,000, 500. What's the Ruby bonus? My brain, 1,000.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm on pain medication, so okay. The Ruby bonus is 1,000. We've got the $5,000 Emerald bonus. We've got the 7,500 Diamond. You know, we have all these incredible bonuses on the table. Pretty much corporate's been like, you can have it all right now. And so what would you say to somebody that's like, I really want to promote this month? Like, what kind of tip would you give to them?
Well, the biggest thing is to have a sense of urgency. And I feel like I've seen so many people say they want to promote, but they're not doing enough to do it. And they're not looking at their chart. So your chart is your roadmap. That's your GPS to get to your destination. So if you don't have your chart in front of you every single day and you're not updating the volume, you're not going to know what you have and what you need, and you're not going to meet your goals. So you have to have the chart out every single day. You have to update volume as it comes in through the night and see what you have. You have to work with your leaders and make sure you guys are all on the same page when it comes to moving customers and like who needs what. And you have to sacrifice time. Like that's the biggest thing. Like I feel like a lot of people, you know, want to work this part-time or do it on the side, but you're not going to make the big money if that's how you're going to do it. Like you have to make sacrifices. You have to message and talk to every single person that you've never talked to before, you know, get your ticket list out and ask all your friends and family that you're scared to ask, you know, ask everyone because you never know who's going to say yes. You basically just have to double your efforts and just do what you normally do, but just do more of it.
I love that. And I'm looking through some of the questions, and some people might have hopped on late because we've answered some of them. But like, someone's asking, do you do more attraction marketing or messaging? Cassie said she messages 100 people a day. So she's definitely messaging. She's not sitting back waiting for people to just like come to her. You know, because like sometimes when people are like, oh, I do attraction marketing. I'm like, well, yeah, attraction marketing is making your Instagram and your Facebook and your platforms look nice. And so, yeah, people will come to you. But I wouldn't be an ambassador if I sat back and let everyone come to me. Like the majority of my leaders, I would say 80%, I asked. You know, like I either knew them and asked them, or I sent them a message to ask them. I probably, maybe have like 20% that will come because they see consistency. And that's just me, and everybody's different. But somebody said, what would you say to somebody? So we've already answered. If someone said, I don't have anyone to message, she would say, well, then you need to follow more people, expand your network. So she answered that question. Another one of the questions I have written down, if someone says, I can't sign any loyal customers, or I can't sign any distributors, I'm having problems, you know, recruiting. What would you say to that, Cassie?
Well, I mean, you first have to change your mindset. Like whatever you say, you become, and what you're thinking, you're attracting. So just change your mindset and start telling yourself that you are enrolling and that people are lining up at your door wanting to sign up with you and they want what you have to offer. So make sure like your mindset's in a good place and you're doing self-development. But then also like take a look at everything that you're doing. Does your profile look nice? Do you have a high following? Is your ratio out of whack? Are you messaging people? Are you talking to people? Are you following up with people? Like I definitely don't wait around. Like you said, I talk to people every single day and I get no's a lot every single day. So like if you think it's easy for me or I get a ton of people saying yes, that's not the case. Like probably 90% of people that I talk to say no, but because I talk to so many people, I eventually get those yeses, and I do this every single day and I'm consistent. So I'm signing up a lot of people, but it honestly all comes down to taking massive action.
I love that. So, and when you message, tell me this, you're primarily messaging about products, correct?
Yeah, I don't message at all for distributors. So I guess you can say attraction market for distributors. People come to me for my life post because almost every single one of my pictures is a life post.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, like if someone tells me like they don't have money for the products, then I'll turn the convo around and say, well, have you ever thought about doing what I do to make an extra income? And then like we'll go from there. But I only message for customers.
So you message for customers, and then that's true because I follow Cassie on Instagram, and yeah, like a lot of her posts, you might look at it and not even be able to tell it's a Networks post. You know what I mean? But if you read the caption, it's all about what the business is doing, or how it's blessed your family and this and that. And tell me this: what did you post when you were first starting? Like you didn't really have this. Like now you're on the beach, you're traveling, you got all this, you're living the good life. But what about when you're first starting? And you're like, I don't have any of that yet. Like I want to build this.
So when I first started, it was like almost summertime, which was great. So I just kept talking about being able to work from anywhere. And I just kept talking about the bonus I was going to earn. So even though I was not yet Ruby, I kept talking about how I was going to earn the $1,000 bonus. I was posting my weekly bonuses and showing off that. And basically I guess you could say I was faking it till I made it. So I was just like portraying it and just putting my goals out there and just doing so. That was like life posting. But that's basically it. And like also like whatever my enroller posted, like if that was like a lifestyle post, like I would just take that and make it my own and post it. So if you don't know how to post or how to write a caption, like look at someone else and just, take that and like word it so it fits your life. That's how I learned how to post.
Okay, I love that. Yeah, just follow the right cat. Pick somebody, you're like, I love what they're doing. Do what they do. Somebody was saying like, how often do you follow up with somebody? Let me see exactly what the question was. I was reading through some of them. I can't find where I read it, but how often do you follow up? I think that's what it said. Oh, how long do you wait to message someone after you?
Well, if they give me a date, I'll wait till that date, but usually I like to get them within like a day or two after I talk to them if the conversation didn't really end the way I wanted it to see if it's still so it's still fresh in their mind. But I'll follow up with someone like 5 to 10 times. Like as long as they are somewhat interested and they don't tell me to stop messaging them, like I'll keep following up with them.
Okay, and I think I butchered this person's question. I think Christina's saying is how long do you wait to message when you follow someone? But she's not messaging people she's following, she's messaging people following her, correct?
Yes, because if you do it the other way around, you could actually get blocked easier, so they have to be following you.
Okay, so people that are following you, that's who she sends the messages to. Okay, and so you said you basically like to sign a loyal customer a day. So how many loyal customers do you typically sign in a month?
I mean, it could be as low as 30, and my highest was 97, and that was the month I went presidential. So that was me like literally working like 18 hours a day, every single day nonstop. I needed a lot of volume and I pulled it in. Maybe on average like 50. I'm definitely like a heavy customer enroller because I message so much. But that way I'm able to never miss a fast start and also place for cat bonuses and help people promote and fill 400 boxes. But as far as like how long I wait to message them, I kind of just go down my list that I have in my albums. If I like run out of names and I get a bunch of people to follow me, I'll message them the next day. Like I don't really wait around for them to follow me for a few days. I just do it right away as I have the names.
Wow. So 30 to 97. So anyone that's thinking there's no customers to sign, that should blow your mind because there's definitely customers to be signed. I think it comes down to ask yourself, how many people are you asking? Okay, and so, this is a question. So what about like distributors? Would you say of the distributors you sign, do you feel like if you sign 5 people, they're all 5 going to go for it or half are going to go for it? Or how do you feel like that happens?
Yeah, definitely not. I feel like, let's say if I sign 10, maybe 5 will work, but maybe only like 1 or 2 will really stick with me. And that's like, I feel like normal for everybody. But because I'm always signing new distributors, like there's always going to be at least one that sticks every single month that is really enrolling and working with me. And that's really all it takes to be successful.
And I think that kind of that is like hitting the nail on the head. You're going to sign people, y'all, that they're not going to do anything. I'll sign people and be like, I don't get it. She came to me and now she's ignored me, or I just got unfriended, and you're like, wait, you signed up with me. Like, I don't get this. But there's going to be people, and I always say some will, some won't. Who cares who's next? You work with who wants to work. But I love that, you can walk with those that want to walk, run with those who want to run. If they join you and don't do anything, stop getting hung up with, well, they're not working, they're not posting, they're not replying. Get out there and sign somebody new. Sign a new distributor. Like, that's just what you have to do. Like, you can't worry about, I've been built for Ruby, but I don't have the volume. Well, hopefully this month you bring in 3 new distributors, because that's part of your success, and 4 customers, and maybe one of those 3 is going to take that dead leg spot. But if you're not bringing in new people, then, it's not going to happen. Let me see. I love that. Okay. And so when it comes to distributors, you've been posting about the business, and that's kind of what you do. And then would you say a lot of your loyal customers become distributors?
Definitely a good amount of them do. It's probably like a good happy medium of both.
Okay. Do you offer them the business after their 3 months, or you just let them ask you?
Yeah, so if they ever text me to cancel after they finish the 90-day challenge, I always bring it up, and I always ask them if they want to sign up to be a distributor. And then sometimes they ask for more info. If not, then they'll just keep watching my posts and eventually sign up.
Eventually sign. Okay, so tell me this. What about, do you have any way where you do loyal customer follow-up, or not really, or how is that?
Honestly, I'm not the best with that because I enroll so many, but I always tell all of them to text me when their product comes in so that I can explain to them how to use it, especially with the keto coffee. I feel like that's all I'm selling these days. So I always tell them to text me, and I tell them to get a frother and how I make mine and how it tastes the best. And I give them tips and stuff like that. And they always are giving me awesome feedback. I feel like I'm getting the best feedback ever with the coffee, more than any other product, which is amazing. But yeah, that's basically it.
I love that. Yay. Oh, that's so good. So let's see. What would you say would be something that you're okay, I wish I would have known this when I first joined, or I wish I would have done this sooner? Do you have anything like that? That's one of those
I'm trying to think. I feel like I went so fast in the beginning, so I feel like there's nothing I really could have done differently. Maybe just asked more people that I was scared to ask, because I definitely didn't ask as many people as I could have. But I feel like if I did make any mistakes, I learned along the way. But I don't really have any regrets, because I feel like because I promoted so fast, that gave me the push to keep going. And the biggest tip I have is just to never get comfortable at a rank, because I feel like a lot of people get comfortable at a certain level of income, and that stops them from reaching the next rank. And, that's super, super important. You always have to keep dreaming bigger and reaching the next goal, because you never want to hit a standstill.
I love that. And then what about, is there been any aha moments where you're something that just maybe anything recently, or,
It was so many. It's just crazy. Even being announced number 2 after 3.5 years, that was mind blowing. Being able to help my parents and help my grandma every single month, is amazing, because I remember just a couple years ago before I worked, they were the ones helping me. So, I can go on and on, so many aha moments, but it's just crazy, what can happen in such a short period of time if you really put in the hard work.
I love that. Okay. And then I'm keep up on the questions. What about self-development? Would you have a certain book or favorite speaker or passion?
I love watching The Secret on Netflix. I love Be Obsessed or Be Average, You Are a Badass, and You Are a Badass at Making Money, both of those books. Those are my favorites. And then I listen to a lot of sermons too as personal development, because I just feel that also vibes with me in a better way. But yeah, that's basically it.
Okay. I love that. And I'm trying to see. Someone said, what's the reason that you start with product sales first?
I just feel I sign distributors better with posting. So I just feel messaging, I'll get better feedback. I feel if I message, let's say 50 people to become a customer and 50 to become a distributor, I'm going to have more feedback and more yeses with the customer message versus the distributor message. I don't know why. I just feel it just works better. And because I'm always posting about the business, I just get distributors that way. So I like to mass enroll customers, and I like to fill volume for 400 boxes, like I said, to promote, and for fast starts. So that's just what I've always done.
Okay, and then when you're selling, I know you said the coffee. Are you doing like the coffee by itself, the coffee with the chocolate greens, or just kind of whatever they're wanting?
Well, I always recommend the greens with it because it tastes so much better, and obviously it's like a great duo. But obviously, if they don't want to spend that much, I'll just do the coffee. But I always recommend both of them together to upsell it.
Okay. And then when you're launching your newbies, I know that you already said you give them a post about hair, skin, and nails. You give them a message, which is a product message. And then how do you tell them to go get those distributors? Because, you know, people aren't going to come to them right away. Do you tell them, like, hit up or market?
So yeah, definitely the warm market. And then I have a post on my team page, basically like live posting for newbies. So it's basically like all the do's and don'ts and how to post. And I always tell them to like look at my page too. They can get ideas and captions from my page. But I tell them to start live posting right away. I'm sure like once you do, like you're already going to get questions from people that you know and your followers. So I just tell them to start right away. Like don't wait on the posting.
Don't wait on the posting. I love that. Yay. I think we got through, you know, most of these questions. That's awesome. So, I mean, there's a lot of months left, you guys. Let's see. I'm like, what is it? It's the 21st. So, I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days left. So, like, so much can happen in like 10 days. Oh my goodness. And so, you know, I love that Cassie said, if you're trying to promote this month and you're serious about it, like double your efforts. So it's like if you're normally posting 30 times a day, post 60. If you're posting, you know, messaging, not posting, messaging. I'm like, don't post. Yeah, actually, that would be something we could bring up. You don't want to overpost. Well, I know for sure on Facebook you don't because your posts compete with each other. I don't really know how Instagram works. Do you know with Instagram?
Well, with the algorithm, if you post like too close together, it might get like pushed down the news feed, but I definitely wouldn't post more than like 2 to 3 times a day just with the algorithm the way it is now. So I guess it's just more quality over quantity.
Quality over quantity. Yes. So good. Yeah. So quality over quantity. But if you're utilizing Instagram stories, it's almost like you have the people that view your stories and then the people that view your thing. I didn't actually ask you this, and I had that in the notes a while back. With polls, do you feel like you sign a lot of people with doing like polls, or do you do more of the swipe up, or do you do the vote?
I do more of the swipe up, and honestly, I just feel like with the polls, from my past experience, I get so many people that vote on it that didn't mean to click it, or I message them and they just don't answer for whatever reason. So I always just tell them to swipe up because I know that they're really serious about it. So I do stories for distributor posts and customers. So I get distributors too from my stories.
Distributors from your stories. And do a lot of people swipe up, do you feel like?
Yeah, definitely.
I like that. So I don't do a lot of the swipe up, but that might be something good to try. Okay, so you have them swipe up if they're interested. And then, yay! Oh, I appreciate it, girl. Thank you for taking the time. I feel like, yeah, you gave us so much awesome info. I know Stacy said I'm staticky. I don't know why. But so much awesome info. This is recorded, so I'll get everyone the link, and I'll send you the link too. I think if you want it. But thank you, girl. We're so proud of you, and it's just so awesome, you know, seeing you and your team just, you know, blowing it up. And I think that's just so inspiring, especially to all those 20s, those young 20s, and the college girls. Like, that's so cool to see you guys doing that. And yep, so proud of you, and we're cheering you on, girl.
Thank you so much.
Okay, y'all. Well, everybody have a good night. And don't forget, we still have a couple more hours for the BOGO. So it ends tonight at 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. So go out there, sign up those last minute BOGOs, and everyone have a good night. Bye.